Hello, everyone, and welcome back to We Just Love Games Network. This is episode 95 of GameStack podcast, Beggin for Thor. Happy Friday, one and all. I am your co-host, and joining me, I'm your co-host, Vendertron, and joining us tonight is the very strong Rick. Hello, Rick.
Strong?
Mm-hmm.
I tweaked my neck playing with my kid.
To make a muscle
Yes, now. Yes.
No, it wouldn't fit on
the
the camera.
It'll be like the Looney Tunes, and it'll droop.
Yeah, and the very illustrious Shalene. Hello, Shalene.
Hello.
I was doing like a Thor theme thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to.
Yeah, you could call him shocking, or
yeah,
hammered.
Yeah,
Hammered.
I mean, you're well on the way, right?
No, I've had a sip.
Welcome to the show.
Wait,
welcome to the show.
That's against Twitch's guidelines. Unless I have cleavage.
It's fine. Yeah. How's it going, guys?
Well, if this isn't the most tripped over introduction.
Nah,
ever.
I mean our introductions are the best when they're a mess.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly a mess.
Just like week.
Why was your week a mess, Bender?
It was just a mess. Like the COVID cases that we have here are absolutely, totally, and completely freaking out of control. It's the worst it's been. Which is ironic because people are vaccinated, but it's the battle of the unvaccinated. So it's been a busy week. Yeah, lots of writing too. So, and lots of therapy in terms of playing video games with friends. Sorry, I stood you up, Shalene.
That's okay. I forgive you.
You stood her up?
We did manage to raise $200 for the kids.
It was for the children.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Unfortunately, it was only $200 out of the $2,000 thing. But I think they're still doing it. So, Extra Life, Hardware Guy, go check them out on Twitch.
Good.
Yeah. How's your guys' week been?
It's been all right.
I could
Not the best, not the worst.
Swing a dead cat and not hit anything.
I mean, well, okay.
With the amount of responses.
I worked a lot this week, so it was just a lot of work. So I've been slowly restoring some old equipment and sending stuff out and cutting records. It's been a week of just work. So I haven't played many video games this week, but I do have a really fun video game / rant for later.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Well, we will get to that as well. We are also going to bring you some news. We're going to talk about some gameplay, the game stocks, as well as what our community is playing. And I'm introducing a new segment tonight called Streamer Spotlight, where we spend a minute or so just talking about a featured streamer on Twitch that we think that the community should check out. And then we're going to cap things off with what we're actually playing. But before we start tonight's show, we would like to acknowledge that we are sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you go to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up yourself a bag of Peru, Cajamarca, Guatemala, Huehue, Tenango, We Just Love Coffee blend. And $2 from every bag goes to the Children's Miracle Network. I think that's the first time I actually did that successfully.
It is. And we need to get some sales going, guys, because one, it's great coffee. And two, more importantly, it goes directly to help the kiddos get better. And, those could be future listeners, man.
Yeah.
No, but more importantly, it goes to a cause that is near and dear to
What is it?
most all of our
$18?
hearts.
$18 for a 2-pound bag?
I don't think it's that much, is
How
it?
much is it?
I don't know.
Maybe we should have looked into that at some point.
Oak and Crow.
Okay,
He
you got
could be
it.
selling this for like $900. We don't know. It could be premium coffee.
it's
$2 goes to the kids from a $900 bag. What are you? It's an $18 bag. Yeah.
Okay, $18.
Oh,
Okay.
I need to send him a better rendered picture.
I have 2
going
bags
on there?
coming.
Oh, the rest of them are kind of like that too.
I have 2 bags coming to my house. So there we
Ooh.
go.
Okay, so I would just like to point out that $18 for I don't know how much coffee it is.
12 ounces.
I thought it was a pound. 12 ounces?
How many grams is 12 ounces?
Pretty certain it's
know.
12-ounce bags.
Okay,
1
well,
pound bag.
it's a bunch of coffee.
That's pretty
The-
reasonable for a 1 pound bag. Like I usually get the 2 pound bag.
If it is 12 ounces, then that's less than a pound.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I think it's a 12-ounce bag. The artist signatures are a little more expensive because they're more premium coffees,
Mm.
if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's well worth it. So
Well, that was GameStack. Also, before tonight's show, we would also like to acknowledge that today is World Suicide Prevention Day. And we would like to send out the message to our listeners of some warning signs that might suggest that someone you know or you love may be at risk for suicide. Actions of thinking or talking about suicide and having a plan for suicide are pretty good indicators of that. Other signs and behaviors that you might want to watch out for include withdrawal from family, friends, and activities, feeling like you have no purpose in life or reason for living, increasing substance use, feeling trapped or hopeless about the future, and no other way out of a situation, talking about being a burden, and anxiety or significant mood changes. If you or someone you know is thinking about suicide and you reside within Canada, you can contact the Canada Suicide Prevention Service at 1-833-456-4566. They're available 24/7. And if you're residing in the U.S., there's a National Suicide Prevention Hotline available 24/7. You can contact them at 1-800-273-8255.
I also want to make mention that for those of us in the US and also around the world affected by it, tomorrow is the 20th anniversary of 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to get all the heavy stuff out of the way. And so just let's not forget that there are people still suffering. There are kids who were born without parents because of those attacks that are, turning 20 this year. So, or any number of age of this year. I know.
Do you guys remember your little insignificant memory of when that happened? Like I was in
Oh yeah.
8th grade social class, and my teacher came into the classroom late, and we were all sitting there waiting for her to get there. And she came in, she didn't say anything. She turned the TV on to the news, and she said, "Today, instead of learning about history, we're going to watch it unfold." And it was just like the most bone-chilling thing, and we were like, what is she talking about? And then we sat there and we watched this whole thing for like a whole morning. And they canceled morning classes because they wanted all the students to watch it because it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I was in 8th in the US, at least for me, like nobody, like we were not told about it until we got home. Like our school didn't say anything about it. I guess because it happened on our soil. So, yeah, I was at home. Something happened to where we knew something was up, but we didn't know what. They sent us home early, and then when I got home, I was playing with Legos when I looked up and saw that the towers were on fire. So I remember what was going on there. So yeah.
What about you, Shalene?
I was in high school. I was a little older than you guys. I want to say 10th grade, maybe. And we had actually lost a classmate in an auto accident on September 10th.
Oh gosh, so it was like compounded.
So we were all pretty out of it already. It's a big deal to lose a classmate at any time, but imagine that you go to a school where there are 5 people in your class, and one of them has died horribly. And so the teachers weren't really expecting a lot of us. I was driving to work in my 79 Ford Thunderbird, and I heard the report on the radio. I didn't really understand the significance until I got to school and saw that the teachers were all just like riveted by what was happening. And I spent most of that day going from classroom to classroom, taking messages from one teacher to another. We really didn't do any work that day.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the kids were working on kind of arts and crafts memorial projects for our classmate, and it was a weird day.
Well, thanks for sharing, guys.
Yep.
Yes, so just keep those thoughts in mind, and the thoughts of the people that and the families that are affected from 9/11, but also acknowledging World Suicide Day. Happy Friday if you're coming into the show. We do have a lot to talk about this evening, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. If you're listening live, host us on Twitch. Tell your friends about the show. Sit Grandma in front of the TV and make her watch because she's going to like it anyways. We do have to go through some Discord people. And Rick, would you like to take us through that?
Absolutely. We can welcome Van73, Route 2 over 2, Area 51 Bob. I'm going to cut it up and make Maracamole 7225. That's a great Maracamole. But
it's Maracamole.
Yeah.
Really?
Bruh.
Yeah. That's Juan from ASA Podcasting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maracamole, mole.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Jax Wiley, Dad's Gaming 1, Unk Tio, Devil Hacker, beware. If I get hacked, I know who I'm looking at. Shaggy?
Yeah.
Shaggy. It's a bit leet, but we'll go with that. And then, can we talk about how silly tech support has gotten and other channels?
You're
Tech
not
support.
supposed to read that part.
I read whatever's on the teleprompter. So basically, tech support was a channel that was started in Discord for anyone that had tech questions, but it quickly devolved into just tech support meme.
I love how this seeped over into this episode because it was actually something for the last episode.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. But how can people join the Discord?
Well, they can click the link that is in the bottom of this Twitch page. It is available 24/7. You can always come to this twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames and click ye old link down below.
Mm-hmm.
You can also message me, Shalene, or Vendor on social medias, or send us an email at info@wejustlovegames.com. Ask for the link, and we will deliver that to you promptly. And you can enjoy such beautiful channels like Tech Support, Gift Wars, The Lobby, and some other very fun channels as well. Companions,
I think
that's one where people post pictures of their pets.
I think it's also worth mentioning that we do have a peer support channel as well. So if you feel that there's nobody else that you can reach out to, you can always post concerns or thoughts in the peer support channel. And our community is very open and welcome, and we offer a safe space for people to voice that in there.
Yep. That's how you join.
Right. So I've already told you guys what we have on the docket. We're going to roll over to news with Shalene with this just in. Take it away, Shalene.
I love that news bumper.
Isn't it great?
Every time.
I just
it makes
love
me
it.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost as much as we love games. We just love the news bumper.
Yes.
Okay, so news. Our first item in the news today is that there is a history professor who is teaching students American history via Red Dead Redemption 2. So this is an article from, I have no idea what this website is.
University of Tennessee.
University of Tennessee. Oh, okay, I just need to expand the window. University of Tennessee News. So Associate Professor of History Thor Olson from the University of Tennessee has taken a colleague's recommendation to play Red Dead Redemption 2. He hadn't played a video game since high school, but with all this pandemic free time, he decided to give Red Dead Redemption 2 a try.
Nice.
And soon he noticed that there were a lot of references to major historical dilemmas that usually go untouched in video games.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Really? He said, I was quite stunned at its attention to detail, at least relative to other games, and its willingness to engage difficult and complex historical subjects, including race and racism, the power of corporate capital, and the cosmopolitan nature of the U.S. population, women's suffrage, among many other topics. They mentioned that in this article that games like The Oregon Trail and Assassin's Creed portray historical events and have in the past been incorporated into university history courses. But Olson thought that Red Dead Redemption 2 could be the basis of a class. And in this game, he thought that this really struck a chord with him. And if students were interested in this game, why wouldn't they be interested in the history of that period? Another quote from Olson: "The course was born out of this instinct and out of my long-term interest in inviting new generations into the professional study of the past. Historians have been doing this forever. 50 years ago, we taught history courses using popular novels. 30 years ago, we taught history courses with popular films. 20 years ago, we might have used popular TV series. We've been very slow to acknowledge that video games are basically the same thing." This fall, he is teaching a course called Red Dead America, which details the history of North America in this period between 1880 and 1920. The class filled up quickly, proving that it was as popular as the game itself. So, student responses are really positive.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really great. The students really, really enjoyed how he incorporated this. So,
That was one of the things that I really enjoyed in playing Red Dead Redemption was I did learn and experience a little bit of America's history, which I really enjoyed. And I did like the undertones around portraying racism and suffrage and other very key issues of that era. It's cool that he's using it in a way that is educational.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that specific time period was a large turning point in our history from
Big time.
the wild wasteland, not wasteland. I've been playing too much Fallout. From the wild west, and even kind of the untamed east. That turn of the century really changed who and what America became and was. And it was we have a lot of shifts in culture, and it's never easy. So it's just, I like how they portrayed that whole like Wild West outlaw mentality, trying to make it and survive, versus that the law coming in and putting standards and methods on everything and moving society forward into a more organized organism. Yeah, so it was cool.
It still remains to be one of the best games that I played.
It's a very good one.
Yeah.
Lady!
Great story.
Ah, you let me.
I always want to see more games used in education. People are always giving games a bad rap, but oftentimes what people do is they don't realize the potential that is there. And like Rick, I think you've touched on this on previous episodes where we talked about how video games are becoming an archive of human consciousness and history.
Yeah, I mean, the more advanced the games get, the more people want to explore eras. And even though Red Dead takes place in a fantastical location, because I don't think it's part of any sort of state, if I'm thinking correctly. It's been a while.
yeah, it's kind of a fictionalized version of actual America.
But it does resemble a little bit of like southern United States.
Yeah. They
with the ocean there
and a couple things.
It's a fictionalized version in the same way that that GTA 4 is not set in New York. It's set in Liberty City.
Yeah.
Right.
The way I picture it on the map is like New Mexico is like far left of the Red Dead map, and then like there's like sort of like Colorado, Utah-ish kind of mountainy plains and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Texas is more like Saint Denis kind of.
Yeah, and then Louisiana kind of,
right.
New Orleans.
Yeah, Saint Denis, Louisiana.
But what it allows you to do is explore these eras in a safe kind of environment where you can mold it and change it a little bit, but still influence it by real world history. I mean, a perfect example is Mafia 3. When it takes place in, again, a fake New Orleans, but the era and the events that are going on, like the Vietnam War and the racism in the South in that time, is very palpable in the entire thread of that video game, even though it's a fake city. So yeah, I think it's really good that games are doing this, and I hope they continue to do it, because not only is it fun to go back in time and play, like a bootlegger in the Mafia games or something, or play like a cowboy in Red Dead. It's also educational from the perspective of I think a lot of times people will notice something in a game and look it up and be like, man, is that real? Did that happen?
Yeah.
And then they find out, oh my gosh, it did.
Yeah.
So, it's that stuff I think is really, really awesome.
And every time I play it, I find something new. There's something that I missed the previous time. Yeah.
Kind of piggybacking off of missing things, there was something that I completely missed in Skyrim. I'm going to go on this little quick tangent. So you ever notice in the build, when you're at the forge, there's a shell bug option to build a shell bug helmet?
Yeah.
And I've never, ever found a shell bug in my life in that game. Apparently there's 2 caves where they can spawn, and you mine them. You don't kill them, you mine them. And that gives you, I think, shell bug chitin, and then you can make the helmet from that.
What does it look like? Is it a cute hat?
No, it looks like the shell. It looks like the picture. It's like kind of like a creepy looking.
We're doing
face.
We're doing a Google.
But I've never ever seen, of all the hours I've played in this game, I've never stumbled upon a shell bug before.
That's a great hat.
I've never seen. I've
love
seen
it,
but I never could figure out where to find those shell bugs. The other thing that I didn't know either was that if you just equip the pickaxe and you attack a mining node, it actually mines the node. I didn't know that either. So it's just interesting. But yeah, the shell bug thing is just pretty cool.
I like the shell bug helmet. This is fabulous.
Never knew it was a thing.
Docker says I thought Red Dead Redemption was in Canada.
No. No.
Oy. Yeah. Chitin. There's a callback.
Chitin.
Remember playing Ark? I just need a little more chitin. Oh, I thought it was called chitin.
No, that's what you do on a toilet. Get out.
You guys.
10 minutes and 13 seconds to poop jokes.
Yeah, haven't even gotten into the second news bit yet.
Gracious.
Okay.
So, Vendor, do you remember hanging out playing Life is Strange?
I was gonna tell you this week that we have to do this.
Those were good times, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to revive that Days of Our Life is Strange series because a new Life is Strange game has come out today. Life is Strange True Colors. This is an article from France 24. I don't know where you find some of these things.
I just searched Life is Strange.
Even the full thing?
I sometimes I
search
really
Life is
wonder about how you vet your
I searched Life is
journalism
Strange
here.
new games and I picked the article at the very top. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going with France 24.
And it's all the same. It's all the same.
Yes, I mean, when I think video game news, I think France 24.
We're gonna be going to Sky News next.
Says the guy who is like, misinformation is bad.
France 24.
Like, whatever article, just throw it in there.
Okay. So,
Focus.
Let's talk about Life is Strange True Colors. It looks really cool. I've been looking forward to it for a while. You play as Alex Chen, who is a bisexual protagonist with a mysterious superpower. And this is, as France 24 points out, the latest in a growing array of video games starring LGBTQ characters. So I think that's fantastic. And like previous games in this series, Life is Strange True Colors allows players to pursue same-sex relationships if they so choose as they journey through a supernaturally tinged version of small-town America. And so France 24 has called the developer 9 Deck Games. They're Deck 9. I don't know if that's a language issue about the direction that you put things in. We wanted to continue to honor the story of queer characters in Life is Strange, said the 9 Deck lead writer, John Zimmerman.
Okay, this is why I get you to do the news.
Okay, well, next time, we're gonna vet these.
We're coming to France 24 for every one of these. Yeah, so part of the whole running joke, I think, between you two and the three of us when it comes to Life is Strange is the fact that it's a Swedish company. The company's based in
No.
Sweden?
Well, the original developer was French. But Deck Nine that has made this one is American.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The
'Cause I was gonna say-
publisher
No.
is Square Enix.
Okay, because I was gonna say it's gonna be really, really fun because we would laugh about how they perceived
Yeah.
American dialogue, and with the fact that this is a bisexual character in the small town America, like they're
Mhm.
ticking all the boxes. I couldn't wait to see the dialogue on this one from a French American perspective. But okay, it's an American now. I
Yeah.
didn't realize they changed
Yeah.
developers. So.
Now, if you recall, Shalene and I did
Is it going to be like Gen Z lingo, like, dude, that's lit or something? I don't know. Is it going
Wow,
to be
is
like
that what the kids say
I don't know.
nowadays?
I just wonder if it's going to be like that.
Rick, you're
Like
way
TikTok?
too old. You're way too old.
I know.
Was it? Did you see that on the Tic Tacs?
The Tic Tacs, the Talk Ticks.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh my gosh, I saw it and I was shook. I
Well,
tell you.
so if you you're so woke. Quit doxing me. So if you guys recall, Shalene and I did Days of Our Life is Strange playthrough with Zoe and Chloe.
Yeah, we did.
Take us
Life
through that
is
history.
Strange. Life is Strange Before the Storm.
Yes.
Which was Chloe and Rachel.
Rachel.
Yes, and then we did Life is Strange with Chloe and
Max.
And then there was Life is Strange. No,
2.
first there was Captain Spirit.
Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit.
Captain Spirit.
Yeah.
And then Life is Strange 2 featuring the Diaz brothers.
Right. Which was probably the best one.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game.
Like,
they
it
were
was-
all really good though.
Like, I feel
It
like
was-
I don't know, maybe you can comment on this, but I feel like that Life is Strange 2 touched you more on a personal level.
In a lot of ways it did,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
In a lot of ways it did.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
So I'm
I mean,
really
it-
excited for True Colors. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see games embracing this. I have a feeling this is going to get a lot of pushback in the in some circles, which it will.
Probably, but
I mean those
what-
people probably wouldn't have liked this game anyway.
No,
I
What
really
was gonna
hate
s-
that LGBTQ has become politicized.
Well, no, I know. Well, what I was going to say is, I really can't wait till we get to the point where it's just a part of the story that everyone just feels is normal. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
if there's a straight character and then nobody says like, well, this is about a straight white male.
I know.
It's just kind of
starring a white cisgendered straight man.
yeah, or even like this is a lesbian, character. Nobody ever does that anymore. But like if it's bi or something or pan, like they kind of like use that as a hook, and that's fine because it helps normalize things. Like
Yeah.
Well, it is important at this point for that kind of thing to be pointed
Yes.
out because people get to see themselves represented in media. But I understand what you mean that it's I want to move to the time
Yeah.
when we don't have to point these things out. We expect them.
yeah, and like I've been watching this show called Dragon Prince, I think is what it is, on Netflix. We watch it as a family, and they've done that where they've thrown in like there's a deaf character. She's a knight, and she's awesome, but she's deaf. Does like a bunch of sign language and
Yeah.
stuff, and it's just part of the story. And then like there's like 2 gay couples in there, and they're just like a part of the storyline. And it was the first time my kid ever saw that sort of thing, which
Really?
I didn't. Yeah,
Rick,
I didn't realize.
you need to do better.
Well, we it's not like I pointed out, but like I thought it had been noticed. Anyway, it kind of like took her off guard, and she's like, "Huh?" Like it was just interesting that like, or at least it was the first time she picked up.
Yeah,
on
it was a teachable moment for her.
I think.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's because she saw them kiss, and I think that like
Most
now that she's-
children's shows
she's getting
don't
older-
include that. Yeah.
No, they don't. But now that she's getting older, and there's she's changing, and she noticed like 2 girls or 2 guys kiss. She's like, "Huh? That's a thing?" We're like, "Yeah, it's a thing." So, it's good to see that thrown in there like it's normal, so
Yeah.
we can kind of treat it
Because it is.
right. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I know.
She's-
Just the wording. I had to clarify. Love you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm curious
Yeah.
to see how it's going to be. I'm excited to play it.
I'll watch it.
I'm
I
gonna
love
get my
watching your guys'
popcorn. You should
streams.
join us this time for the
Yeah, it would
Let's
be
Play.
fun. It would be fun.
And
I'm not going to be a third voice in this because I think it breaks
Why?
the dynamic. Because it
What?
breaks the dynamic of what you two are doing.
it is literally me stuffing my face with popcorn and Shalene reading the text in the game and saying, "Which one do you want to do?" And I go, "Press A."
But like the thing is, it's fun for me to yell at the text box when Shalene makes a horrible decision.
That's why we need you there.
No, because then she'll make the right decision, and then the game would work.
So Taz in the chat is pointing out that Tell Me Why was the next game from the developer. He says it's next in the Life is Strange series. We left it out because it doesn't have Life is Strange in the title. I still think we should probably play that. Go back and play that. It looks pretty good.
Is it a part of the series though?
I don't think so. I think it's just similarly styled. It doesn't have Life is Strange in the title. So to me, that means it's not directly part of the series. But I mean, it still looks fantastic and we should still play it.
I mean, the yeah.
What?
The Wikipedia doesn't even include it.
Yeah. Something that's interesting about Life is Strange True Colors is that they haven't released this game episodically. The whole game is available right now. So we don't have to wait a month or two to get the next episode in the story. So we can just play it as we have time.
Very cool.
Looking forward to checking that out. Thank you, France24, for the scoops.
I think one of the things I really like is looking up the actors and the voice actors. Because you learn a lot about, like, you know, some of the voice actors that are in the game are, you know, in movies elsewhere that you've seen, and you're like, where have I seen them before? Oh, that's cool. So, yeah. Keep an eye out for that.
Especially now that they're doing mocap and then like face cap, so the actual actor is in the game.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah. So our next thing is a bit of a follow-up on something we've talked about briefly in the past. And this one's brought to us by CNBC. This is talking about the resolution of the lawsuit between Apple and Epic Games. Apple can no longer force developers to use in-app purchases, the judge has ruled in this case. So federal judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers made this decision. She issued an injunction saying that Apple will no longer be allowed to prohibit developers from providing links or other communications that direct users away from Apple in-app purchasing. And she did declare that Apple was not a monopolist and that success is not illegal. So this is a pretty big blow to the Apple Store.
Exactly what capitalists will say.
I know, right? I know.
Success is not illegal. It should be in some instances when you're like, you know, human trafficking and sorry.
Oh dear.
Continue.
That was a sharp right turn there, Fender. The App Store, this is a major blow for the App Store because now companies can route you through a different payment system to take you away from Apple in-app purchasing. Apple usually takes 15 to 30% cut of gross sales. So now that can be bypassed. This injunction addresses a long-standing developer complaint and raises the possibility that developers could direct their users to their own website to subscribe or purchase digital content. And this could, of course, hurt Apple's sales, which grossed an estimated $64 billion in 2020.
Jesus.
Apple stock dropped more than 3% in trading today. And this decision concludes the first part of this legal battle. Apple won on 9 of 10 counts, but was found to engage in anti-competitive conduct under California law. So that's the one sort of win that Epic had.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the only winner of this lawsuit was the consumer. Epic and Apple both lost. But I think it's really interesting, and this could have some definite ramifications on how things are treated on mobile sales in the future. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think it's I think it's silly that Apple was trying to lock them down anyway. I mean, Android does this where they allow you to make external, or I should say the Google store. But Apple, as of lately, has been very weird about so not only were they trying to lock down that sort of external purchasing, they were also going to implement something into your photo albums that any photo you take in your iCloud, they were going to basically rummage through your photos. And if there were any pictures that matched known child porn pictures, they were then going to look through them with eyeballs and then, do what they needed to do. But they were going to do this on everybody's iPhone. They were basically going to have access and look through everybody's pictures, which was overreaching in some regard. By the way they were going to do it, and they ended up getting so much flack. They're like, all right, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to implement this feature. So it's kind of interesting that they're doing these sorts of things kind of one on top of the other. It's just weird that they're kind of taking this direction. But they've been doing this for years, little hints in things where they're removing USB ports, putting in their own proprietary systems that you have to then buy that are optional, and then you can't have these purchases outside of our app store, and we're going to have complete
that was
access
always
to...
a thing from the initial product that they made. It was always a proprietary thing.
Yeah, but the whole idea of a USB, which is universal serial bus, is it's universal. So there's not that many. Then they're like, I will make Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is it's just this trend, and the trend keeps continuing regardless of what I think is, I don't want to say best practices, but what would make sense. Why get rid of USB ports? Because they're quite useful. Why put the charger on the bottom of your wireless mouse? You have to flip it upside down to charge it. Who thought that was a good idea? It's so stupid.
My charger is
still
right
annoyed
here.
that I can't plug headphones in.
Yeah, Apple makes a mouse, the little flat white one where you have to literally flip it upside down to plug it in. It's who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah, that was not very smart.
Yeah.
I have the flat white ones, but they're battery operated.
Mm-hmm.
They're not rechargeable.
So it's just, I don't like. I mean, but even Google does these trends. But Google's it doesn't matter. You can sit and nitpick a company apart by the things that they do silly. But this is just one of those things that I'm glad that it ruled on the side of Epic's case, that indie developers and stuff, maybe not indie developers, but developers are allowed to put their own purchases inside of games without Apple having to deal with it.
Hopefully this will inspire Apple to take a smaller cut of some of the profits to encourage developers to use their system. So we'll see how that goes.
Apple has certainly not embraced the gaming market, that is for sure.
They don't need to.
They don't need to. Maybe that's what they just don't care.
They make $68 billion last year. I don't think they care about games.
I don't think they care.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, so our next few news articles are Joseph Tao vetted, so I feel a little more confident going into that.
We're not going to get the Ukraine 72.
I go to the deepest recesses of the net to get those articles for you, by the way.
You found those on the dark web.
Just roll. Just roll the tape, Shalene.
PlayStation Showcase happened last night, and I didn't have time to watch it. So we're going to learn what happened together.
Ooh, okay.
I'm very excited. This is a Kotaku article, which apparently has everything that was shown at the PS5 Heavy PlayStation Showcase. Let's see.
Okay.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake comes to PlayStation 5. Are you a KOTOR fan? Anybody? You guys?
I never played it, no. But just make a new one. Just make a new one.
I don't understand why they don't make a new one, but
because they haven't finished squeezing everything out of what they already have.
The game was released in 2000? It's an old game.
It is an oldie, yeah. Wasn't it on the original Xbox?
I don't know.
I think it was an original Xbox exclusive.
You're an original
So-
Xbox exclusive.
Oh, thank
I am exclusive. Yes.
I tried to play KOTOR. I thought it didn't hold up well. So, yeah, maybe I'll try it again when it's a remake. Anyways, the next thing is Wolverine, which will be made by Insomniac Games.
So it'll be a platformer.
I mean, potentially. They did a great job with Spider-Man. Those Spider-Man games look incredible. And Wolverine is fantastic. He's one of my favorite X-Men. I think it's going to be tons of fun to play a Wolverine game. I loved that Wolverine game from like 2005 or something on the 360.
I mean, the
loved
art
that
style
game. It was
is
so good.
The art style is so good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Look at how Canadian this man looks. It's amazing. They nailed it.
You
He
mean
looks
like
so
the
Canadian
plaid?
with his little plaid shirt. His arms are very lumberjacky.
You mean Hugh
I'm a
Jackey?
lumberjack, and that's okay.
Hugh
Sleep
Jackey.
all night and work all
That was
day.
a good one. Both of you. Yeah.
I hope that they make it gritty like Logan was, because Logan I thought worked really, really well with the idea of like knives for hands and yet no blood. And Logan's like all the blood. So I hope that they do.
Logan was genius. Logan was
Logan was
absolutely
great.
brilliant.
That little
Yeah.
chick was awesome too.
Mhm. So
I mean-
I
Edward Scissorhands was the original Wolverine.
I don't think that's the case, but all right. Like,
Deal-
Wolverine was
deal with
introduced in
it.
like 1960 something, but that's fine.
Deal with it, Rick.
That's fine.
now I'm picturing Wolverine cutting hair. Someone draw this
Cure
fan art for
soundtrack.
me, please. Someone draw this fan art for me, please.
Never seen Edward Scissorhands.
Get out. Just get out.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, we've had this discussion of how there's like
Rick
weird
doesn't
movies
watch
I've never
amazing
seen.
things. It's like
What?
he's like allergic to watching amazing
What?
things.
All right.
No.
Add that to the
Remember
movie
when
night
you
list.
told us that you never watched Game of Thrones?
I did watch Game of Thrones.
I know.
He did,
After we were
yeah.
like, "What? You've never watched Game of Thrones?"
Yeah, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty
It
good.
was, yeah. It was pretty good.
But you've never seen Con Man, and that's free on Prime, and it is absolutely
It's
delicious.
free
and
on
amazing.
US Prime, but we don't have the same shows
Oh, yeah,
here.
That's right.
Up
Yeah,
in
from
the
Canadian
north.
land. Well, you might have it on
Beyond the wall.
Yeah, you're in the wilds up there running around with that little, I don't know, those blue people. The blue people.
The North
The
The
Remembers.
White Walkers.
Oh, that's right. They were
We
blue.
call those anti-vaxxers.
Jesus.
Sorry, too soon?
No.
Spider-Man 2 was also announced, the highly anticipated sequel to 2018's Spider-Man. And it hinted at the inclusion of Venom and Miles Morales. Miles Morales had his own game pretty recently as well, which looked incredible. It had bodega cats in it. I wanted to play it. But I can't buy a PS5 because
Womp.
chip shortages.
Because you bought 4 for your niece and nephew?
no.
for
They
Christmas?
they got an Xbox.
Oh.
They got an Xbox. I haven't even been able to buy a single PS5, not even one. So someday I'll buy a PS5. I got an email that was like, "Hey, this is your private invitation to purchase a PS5," and I was like, "Yes, I'm excited. I can buy a PS5." And I was actually traveling that day, but when the time came, I had an alarm set. I pulled over to buy my PS5, and it put me in a queue for 2 hours. So I said phooey on that and kept driving because I don't have 2 hours to wait for PS5.
You sure?
Stupid PS5. But the reason that I'm really hoping I'm able to buy a PS5 sometime this year is because God of War Ragnarok has been shown, the sequel to the 2018 God of War, which was absolutely incredible. It was my game of the year. I adored that game. And it looks amazing. Of course, it's featuring Kratos and Atreus, aka Boy, who is now a teenager instead of a little boy. And I haven't seen the full trailer, but I have seen a lot of the art, and I'm pretty excited about Dad Bod Thor.
Dad bod Thor.
Yeah.
Dad
Well-
Bod Thor. It turns out Dad Bod Thor is like my type, bro. Like,
It's lore accurate now. So I mean, he's how they describe it in Norse mythology. Unfortunately, folks, Norse mythology does not a Chris Helmsworth make.
you mean he's not jacked and beautiful?
Oh, he jacked, but beautiful in the eye of the beholder.
Indeed. I also don't understand why people are shocked that this is the way he looks, because he looks just like his son Modi in the other game.
But nobody knows what the lore is supposed to be until they've like I'll bet you that God of War was a lot of people's first introduction to Norse mythology in an accurate-ish form. Whereas
I'm
like
gonna recommend that everybody go and pick up. Don't be mad, Rick. Don't explode, okay?
every
just-
time, every
Okay, go ahead.
I was
I'll
just
talk
gonna say
later.
you could listen to Myths and Legends podcast, which is great when it comes to entertaining Norse mythology. So that's all.
Okay,
We should have them on the
also,
show.
I recommend that you read.
Just saying.
That was brilliant. That was really good.
No, Archon
Um,
just
Mhm. Archon in the chat says more Jack Black than jacked. Just brilliant.
Oh, I would love Jack
Brilliant.
Black as Thor.
That would be
that
awesome.
would be amazing.
He'd be like,
It would
"Braid
be
it, bird
so
and
good.
brood and beer." Woo! There's a hammer.
Yeah, and then we need the dude who actually played that. I can't think of that guy's name, but the dude from God of War 1, the main bad guy. I cannot think of the guy who played him.
Well, I've forgotten the name as
Yeah,
well.
but
but-
his actor in real life would be perfect.
Yeah. What
Um,
was I gonna say?
what were we talking about?
I
Are we
don't
doing
know.
a show?
Yes,
It's
so
Friday,
back-
right?
Okay, back on track. I want to recommend that everybody read a book called Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. It's a really, really great book. It's accurate Norse mythology, but it's told in a very, very readable fashion. It's much more accessible and easier to absorb than something like the what's it called, the Prose Edda. I can't.
But like,
can't
which
even remember
one?
The name of
There's
it.
volumes.
There are volumes. There's
yeah,
not
there's
volumes.
volume 1, volume 2, and then there's just Norse mythology. And then there's
Okay, we're looking
also
at this. We're looking this up.
he wrote a book called The Graveyard Book, and fortunately, The Milk.
The one that I read is just called Norse mythology.
North mythology.
Norse mythology. I
North
don't
remembers.
actually.
yeah.
I don't actually. I don't see this volume 1 and volume 2 situation.
North mythology, all about the genus Canadian.
Oh my gracious, you guys. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Very, very much. I will buy a PS5 only to play this game. If I'm gonna get one to play this game. We're gonna make it happen.
Do it.
Yeah. I wish I could get it,
Oh,
but
so good.
not
so
getting
good.
a PS5.
Carl,
Well, you can come over and play. It'll be fine.
Okie doke.
It'll be great. The next thing is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is a
Ooh.
Borderlands spin-off.
Yeah.
It looks like a silly and fun time.
Tiny Tina was great.
it will
Tiny
only.
Tina's
Oh,
hilarious.
where's this? I got lost in the scrolling.
Project Eve is an action game that's coming up. It's a post-apocalyptic action game of some kind. I that's all they've told us about it. Thank you, Kotaku, for not
I
giving
feel
us any
like
important
I
information.
feel like a post-apocalyptic games are kind of getting old.
It's an easy genre.
Yeah.
It's an easy setting.
I still love them. I love me the hell out of some post-apocalyptic games. And Uncharted: The Legacy of Thieves Collection. This will bring Uncharted 4 and Uncharted: The Lost Legacy to PC, and they will also be remastered for the PS5. So I highly recommend that. Both games are incredible, just fantastic. Rainbow Six Extraction will be out in January of 2022. And this is the weird one, isn't it, Rick? The one with like aliens.
Yeah.
I'm just glad they didn't name it Rainbow Six: Extraction, because that's usually what it is.
They've been watching our show.
They have. See, I'm telling you, they're
Colon
catching
Extraction. Fantastic. Forspoken is a Square Enix game that is scheduled for a spring 2022 release. And this game looks really cool. I don't know a ton about it yet, but everything I've seen just looks really neat. It's a beautiful, beautiful game.
It's interesting to see the amount of Souls-like games that are starting to
Yes.
pop up. It's a new trend.
Mm-hmm. Alan Wake is remastered
Oh god.
for PlayStation 4, 5,
Nobody
Xbox,
asked for
and
it.
PC. I mean, Alan Wake was really good though. It was really
still
good.
is good. It was made like 2009.
I mean, that's it. Shows its age.
2010.
When's the last time that you played Alan Wake, Rick?
Like 5 years ago.
Okay, play it now and let me know if it looks good to you.
But sometimes
Good.
games are just fine back there, where we played them and loved them. They don't
The
need-
thing that I'm excited about is that this indicates that we're getting another one.
No, it
So,
doesn't.
to me, it does.
Remakes do not a sequel make. It.
Vendor, you're gonna. I mean, Rick. Sorry, Vendor. I didn't mean to bring you into this argument. So just.
It's okay. I'm watching other
uh,
trailers
carry
while you
on,
guys are.
carry Rick, you're gonna love this one. You're gonna love this one.
I've already
Grand
seen the
Theft
memes.
Auto 5 Next Generation.
I mean, I'm not gonna play it.
But that's why
How
they keep doing
How
it.
many console generations has this game been on?
But wait,
now?
this version has enhanced gameplay.
This version can go to hell.
You can play tennis in like better graphics.
4K. Stupid.
I'd really like to see Grand Theft Auto 6 someday, but I think we never will. They're just gonna keep.
I mean, let's just play
GTA
Grand
5
Theft.
for the rest of our lives.
Let's just play Grand Theft Auto 5 the way it should be played, as a taxi simulator
Mhm.
In 4K.
in 4K.
I always liked doing the tow truck.
I
Tow
loved.
truck was my favorite.
I love driving the taxi. I love it.
Mhm.
It's so
Yeah.
good. The tow
Um,
truck also equally fun. Yeah. And
I like
the
golf.
buses too. The city
I
buses.
like to do golf on the golf carts.
Yeah.
You just cruise around, play some golf.
Mhm.
Yeah, good times.
Carlos'
Good
sister,
times.
my partner's sister, she plays a lot. She's part of the role play community.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the GTA RP or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's so fascinating.
And she is, I'm not sure what role she plays now, but she had to go to like a company golf tournament, and I was like, oh, you should go golfing in GTA and then you'll learn about golfing. And she's like, because she had never gone golfing before.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know, we need a GTA 6 badly.
I'd love to play a new GTA.
Yeah, I want a new story, I want a new world, I want it all.
I'm starting to think we may never get another single player GTA
No,
game. I
don't
feel like
think
they're
so.
just going to make GTA Online for the rest of our lives.
Maybe.
So, our next thing is Ghostwire Tokyo. They've got a trailer for Ghostwire Tokyo, and that's the news there. Deathloop was shown. Deathloop comes out next week. Pretty excited. We will see if it's any good. I have a lot of faith in Arcane, but I don't know. This is an interesting. It's very different. This
Mhm.
concept. So.
Side note, have you guys watched Tales from the Loop on Amazon Prime?
No.
What's that?
Brilliant show.
It's based on. Shalene, didn't I ever show you Simon Stalenhag's art that like kind
Yes!
of sci-fi? It's based on
Brilliant.
his artwork.
Brilliant
Oh, wow.
show.
That makes me want to watch it.
It
It's
is,
super trippy.
It's very cerebral, and I
Yeah.
totally cried a lot watching that show.
Mhm.
It's very good. Mhm.
Wow.
Check it out.
Yeah, there
Guardians-
was. Sorry, I was gonna say there was a game that came out on Steam which was based on his artwork as well, and the game sucked, but it could have been so. It looked good.
Really?
It looked really good
Mhm.
because
Mm.
the big machines were walking around and stuff, and
Yeah.
the 70s aesthetic was great.
You know
but the game was
the
not good.
Sparrow from Game of Thrones. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yep,
the
yep,
High
yep.
Sparrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan Pryce. He is in Tales from the Loop.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's one of the main characters.
Lovely. Guardians of the Galaxy available for pre-order. Kid Amnesia exhibition is a collaboration between Radiohead and Epic Games. And they didn't really clarify what this thing is.
Terrible,
but,
probably.
Yeah. And they showed a tropical adventure game called Chia.
I love it already.
Which
There's a
looks
ukulele. Look at you
Isn't
can
it
learn how to
cute?
play it.
It's so cute. So cute.
Oh, I need to play this.
They can't see it.
I don't care. It looks great. Check out the trailer.
It's so cute.
Oh, it looks like a little like raft and that submergy game.
I love the Hawaii backdrop. I love it. It's great.
There was a turtle with a flower in its
Of course,
hair.
it's going to be a PS5
So
exclusive,
cute.
so,
So
you
cute.
know, there's that.
Gran Turismo 7 will exist.
Yes.
Yeah.
That might
Um,
get me to get a PlayStation 5.
So people
Really?
that like cars.
I love Gran Turismo.
Really?
Gran Turismo. Oh my gosh, yeah. You just ask Sarah about it. Gran Turismo 4 when we were dating, couldn't hardly take me away from the controller.
Who are you and what have you done with Rick?
I love racing sims, like realistic racing sims. Love them.
Huh.
Love 'em.
Interesting. The
Fascinating.
final game that was shown is a horror battle royale set in the Vampire the Masquerade universe. It's called Blood Hunt. Speaking of things that no one asked for. And that is that. That is
Whew.
the PlayStation Showcase.
It hurts. It hurts.
Next.
I'm super excited for God of War.
Yes, that one. Yeah.
Our next item is from VG247. Stardew Valley has now sold 15 million copies.
Really?
That's a lot of Stardew Valley. I feel like there are probably not 15 million people playing it. I feel like it's like 5 million people playing it on every platform that they have.
I mean, probably. Because it is on every platform, including Switch.
Yes. I feel like everybody who I know that loves Stardew plays it on mobile and on PC and on their console, and they have multiple farms going. It's so good. Stardew is so good.
Mm-hmm.
But the developer has shifted focus to a new project. He doesn't know if he will be updating Stardew again because he's busy on the upcoming game. He says, I'm not saying there's going to be another Stardew Valley update. I don't even know at this point. Right now, I'm focused on my next game, so we'll see. He has not announced the next game. What he will say about it is that it's another pixel art game, a top-down perspective similar to Stardew Valley. And in some ways, it is kind of similar to Stardew Valley, but it's not a farming game. It's something different.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah,
I like that.
Can't wait to see what that is.
Hmm.
Yeah. Stardew has such deep and rich storytelling that I feel like anything this guy makes is going to be fantastic.
There's a lot to that game.
Mm-hmm. It's seems like one thing when you start playing it, but it's such
You
so much deeper.
You practically need a PhD to learn how to do the fishing.
Right. Oh my goodness.
The fishing is so complex.
It really
I
is.
love the world. All the characters have their own little lives, and they all play a special role. And you have your little house and your pets.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great.
Such a great game. I don't know. We talked earlier briefly about post-apocalyptic games being kind of ubiquitous, but it's because the post-apocalyptic setting is really popular. You know, it's something that is very near and dear to my own heart. I love post-apocalyptic settings in all sorts of media, and I've always wanted a Mad Max car. And that's great because the Mad Max Fury Road fleet of war rigs are now up for auction.
Really?
A GameSpot
Oh man,
article.
Burning Man is just gonna gobble those up. Everybody
Yes.
at Burning Man's gonna have a Mad Max car.
13 of these cars are going to be available to be bid on, including the war rig that Max Furiosa and the wives were escaping in.
Cool.
The doof wagon that had the guitar playing mutant in front of the speakers.
The doof
The
wagon?
doof wagon. The doof wagon.
I want that
Yes.
one.
That guy, the guitar guy is always my favorite meme. When it's like people say that playing the bard isn't cool. Show him with like the flames and so good. And also Max's 1973 XB Falcon Coupe, the Interceptor, will be part of the lot as well. And the quote here, recently salvaged along with the full-life Max, the XB Interceptor has been resurrected in the crucible of the Citadel, jacked up on off-road rails and supersized wheels, double aspirated V8 blower, now topped by skull-sucking air into Scott hat, as Split sits atop the shiny chrome assassin. Jockey hundreds of horsepower and a handful of hate down mankind's final straight to a finishing line, ever closer and ever more.
I want that dude to write my eulogy. Damn.
Right?
I'm pretty sure I just grew some hair on my chest.
Like one little
Whoop, just came out.
Oh my goodness.
You know, it's funny with the Burning Man thing. I was thinking that I really hate Burning Man, right? And I was trying to figure out why I hate it so much. And it's because
Vegans.
I'm not good looking enough to attend.
What do you
know,
mean? You're not like a washboard?
Oh yeah. Like, you know how like theme parks, you're like, you must be this tall. It's like, you must be this good looking to come into Burning Man.
That's just the people that they publish pictures
That's
of,
exactly
Rick. I'm
it.
sure there are
Yeah.
loads of dad bods at Burning Man.
I doubt it.
I'm sure that.
There
Well, Joshy, I think
absolutely
he's
is.
gone. Tell us, Joshy. I feel like you would know. Tell us if there are dad bods at Burning.
Hippies and burners and a lot of stoned people.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure that Joshy Neurotic is going to be able to tell us. See, anyone can go.
Right.
You don't have to
Right.
be. You don't have to be ripped to go to Burning Man.
Hasn't he been to Burning Man?
I'm pretty sure he
Probably.
has. I feel
I
like
think
we've
we've
had this
talked about
conversation.
this. Yeah.
80-year-old naked dudes painted green.
I'll
See,
paint myself
it's
green.
Gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Drop
We'll
a
go to
tab,
Burning Man.
or drop
be
a
great.
tab and paint myself green. I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow.
I just that would be fun.
Yeah.
But painting me green?
No, that would be traumatic.
It would be. It would be.
I feel like we would have our
Get your
second...
gut out of the way. Get your
Yeah.
gut out of
I'm just gonna move this aside.
Oh, visual gags. Oh.
Can you spread? Yeah, just move that. Okay.
Okay. So, my darlings, that is the end of the news. Oh, wait, it's not. It's not.
No, but
Rick,
wait, there's more.
do
Yeah.
the thing.
This is a funny one. Kind of. So Arma 3 is a video game. It's a mill sim game based on a war that happens in the near future, but a lot of people play the game as like an RP situation. So much how you have the RP Grand Theft Auto 5 server, you have role-playing servers of Arma 3. It's very real, very tactical warfare with like land, sea, air, little bird. I mean, it's super realistic. So there was an Indian media company called The Republic, and they released exclusive footage of a airstrike in Pakistan, and somebody watching it went, that's Arma 3. So a news company in India released Arma 3 footage of an airstrike because like once you get
they
the
thought it
camera
was
filters
real?
of like no, they just said it was real, but it never
Oh,
happened.
so it's like misinformation.
Yeah. And so
Oh.
they put out a fake news bulletin about an airstrike. And because like once you look through the camera of like an AC-130 gunship, they kind of look fuzzy anyways. It's kind of hard to tell like what's real, what's not. Kind of thing.
Interesting.
And so I thought that was funny that the game looks realistic enough that they could use it to spoof it, but someone who played it was like, no. So yeah, be aware of that. Sometimes news agencies will use footage from a video game and claim that it's real.
Well, I mean, let's just. It's kind of hard to call them news agencies because technically they're not a legitimate media source.
France 24 would never have done that.
It says the
I
gameplay
set you
shown
up
in
for that,
Republic.
Shalene.
The gameplay shown in Republic's broadcast is largely zoomed-in footage of a fighter jet flying across a darkened sky, but the full gameplay video includes more video game-y camera movements and close-ups of an anti-air cannon that's clearly a video game asset. So,
side note: did you guys see that footage of Justin Trudeau ripping Rebel Media apart in a question, like a presser?
We don't Canada down here, so no.
Yeah, but Rebel Media is like American.
Is it?
I
I've
don't
never
know
heard
who
of
that
it.
is.
Oh, it's like an alt-right, far-right news media outlet. It's
That's
what?
Why would you think we would know what that is?
What are you presuming about us, Mr. Vendor?
It's U.S. origin. Anyways,
That doesn't mean
I'll send you the
everybody in
clip.
Do you know
How
everything
racist.
that's ever come
That's
out of Canada?
racist.
What? I'll send you the clip. It's awesome.
Name 50 different brands of maple syrup.
Cracker Barrel makes maple syrup. Does that count?
Anyways, we should probably talk about some stocks. Rick?
Yeah. Do we have a bumper?
What's going on in the world of the stock market this week?
Well, it's mostly up. So we've got Sony finishing at $110.32, up 34 cents. Microsoft is down by $1.54, closing at $295.71. Nintendo is up by 62 cents, closing at $62.17. Take-Two is down at minus $3.09. Finishing off at $153.94. Activision is up by $1.59, closing out at $79.64. Ubisoft is up by 78 cents, finishing at 56.22, and EA is up at $2.82, and they close out at $145.13, and 10 cent is down by 89 cents, closing at $62.37.
Okay.
So that's your
great.
GameStop.
Great.
It's quite volatile, but mostly it's green across the board.
Yeah. And major video companies' stocks jumped this Friday after a judge ruled that Apple must give apps the option of directing customers to alternate methods for payment for in-game purchases. And we talked about that earlier on the show tonight. Some of that volatility can be explained by that recent ruling, which I thought was interesting to also share. Now we're going to talk about what the community is playing.
Forgot about the bumper.
I've got
So
a
good.
couple of pictures.
good.
We got a couple
A couple.
submissions to our screenshots and stories channel. If you would like to share your story about a game that you're playing or a screenshot of a favorite moment and you're in our Discord, you can drop it in the screenshots and stories channel and we'll share it on the next episode of GameStack. Tonight what we've got is this lovely cute little picture. This picture is from Deus Mortem. And they say this chicken appeared in the lava for some reason, and he's been here since July.
That's so cute. The little Minecraft chicken in the nether. So cute.
Fried chicken.
Yeah. This next picture comes to us from Setsua. And Setsua says,
Welcome back, Setsua. We hadn't seen him forever.
I know. Went off and got himself married. Well, actually, no, because when he came back, he was celebrating his 10-year anniversary. It feels like you've been gone for 10 years, but we're glad to have you back.
Don't leave us again, Setsua.
He says playing Craftopia on Xbox Series X. So he shared this picture and also this beautiful one of the night sky. Craftopia
Nice.
looks really cool. I think I might like that game. It's been out
I've
for a
heard good
while.
things.
Yeah. Those are our submissions from this week. And the new segment, Streamer Spotlight. is something that I would like to share on the show. So each episode of GameStack podcast, I'm going to go out into the community and find a new streamer or an established streamer, watch their channel, lurk for a little bit, talk to them, get to know them a little bit, and if I decide that they are worthy of our praise, they will get streamer spotlight on the next episode of GameStack podcast. We also take recommendations, so if you want to throw that into the lobby or promote the streams in the Discord, you can do that too. This week's streamer spotlight is MadCraig93 on Twitch. MadCraig is a new streamer on the Twitch community. Super nice guy. I had a chance to hang out in his streams and watch him play some games. He was playing mostly Bus Sim 21 this week because Bus Sim dropped, and I wanted to see what the gameplay was like. And I just ran into this random streamer, Craig. Super nice. And he lives in Essex, UK. And loves to play all different types of games. You can find him on Facebook, facebook.com/MadCraig93. Also Twitter, MadCraig93. And I encourage you to go check out his Twitch page and shoot him a follow and show him some support. He tries to stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and either also Saturday or Sunday. And during the week, he's on around 7 p.m. GMT, which is around noonish Mountain Standard, or 1 or 2 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah, that's the streamer spotlight for this week. So what have you guys been playing? Rick, take it away.
I found a new game. So one Saturday, me and Sarah were home alone, and we were like, man, we want to play a game together, but we really don't know what we should play. It's co-op. We were looking around the Microsoft store, and I stumbled upon this game called Deep Rock Galactic. And it was like 1.8 gigs to download or something. We're like, all right, we'll try that. It's co-op. And the premise that we read was you are space dwarves, and you are hired by Deep Rock Galactic, a mining company, to go down into these very dangerous mines and fight off hordes of awful creatures and also mine resources.
Dwemer mines?
They are just caves.
That was a callback to Skyrim.
I realized that.
Yeah.
So they're just caves in different areas of this planet that you're orbiting. And it's like different styles, like ice caverns.
What's it
lava,
called again?
Deep Rock Galactic.
Okay.
So the best way to describe it is a mix between Minecraft, No Man's Sky, and Borderlands and Left 4 Dead.
Oh, I see the No Man's Sky-esque type.
Yes, it looks like No Man's Sky. It feels a little like Minecraft in the sense you can dig through anything, and it's procedurally generated each time you go into a level. It's like Left 4 Dead in the sense that there's 4 of you. It's dark. You have a little headlamp that does nothing, so you have to throw flares to kind of light up the way, and they dissipate. And you get attacked by hordes, by like an AI director. And it's like Borderlands in the sense that it's very comedic in its writing, and the sense of corporate greed and not caring about you is very prevalent in the game. It's nothing new as far as like innovation, but it is very, 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 very fun to play. It's silly. There's a lot of.
Is it session based?
What do you mean?
Because you said there's 4 of us, so is it like? Is there a story and it saves, or
how
does
it
progress?
It's just like you do missions, you earn like cosmetic rewards and level up your guns and stuff to do bigger missions, and it's just that you play it for the fun of doing the actual mission. There's really no story.
Okay.
There's no completion.
Let's see if I can pull it up here.
It's very cute in the sense that like there's a little bar robot. There's a little robot at a bar, and you can go up and order a beer, and it gives you these frothy beers, and it does little spins when you hit the tip jar, and there's like little details in the game that are really fun, and it's some of the most fun I've had because the caverns are puzzly. So there are 4 classes to pick from, and the classes will actually help you maneuver around caverns differently. So my wife, she plays the scout, which has like a grappling hook, and she can launch herself around, and she shoots flares. And I played the engineer. I can build platforms and then set up two turrets to help defend. And I find that combo works really well because like she'll tag something on a ceiling and be like, I need to mine that. Put me a platform. I'll pop a platform and she'll grappling hook up and do the thing. And whenever we get attacked by hordes, I'll put down my turrets and they really help defend against the hordes. There's also a gunner, which basically just shoots stuff. And then there's the driller, which has like drills for hands and some other stuff that he's able to do. And it's really fun to work together. There's little mysteries in there where like you'll see something interesting and you're like, I'm gonna go poke that thing, and then you poke it and it's like all of a sudden it's a boss and you're like, ah! And it's trying to shoot and it's chaos. And it was it's one of these games that really takes you by surprise on how good. I think the reason we like it so much is because we had no expectations walking into this game, and finding out it's a lot more fun and in depth than we thought it was.
Oh, really?
And it's just a small company from like I think Norway or something, someplace in Europe. And
dwarves. Norway.
Their motto for their company is co-op first. So if you find little cosmetics laying around the cavern, you both can get it. It's not the first come first serve. It's very cool how they have it set up, very co-op focused, and it's
so
very funny.
Things are instanced.
No, it's not instance. That's what I mean.
Or things are not instance. Sorry,
yeah, they're not instance as far as like loot is concerned. You have a little, whenever you mine stuff, you can only carry so much, so you got to deposit it, and your little mule that follows you around. It's a little 4-legged robot. Her name is Molly. They call her Molly. I know. And then there's a big drill that sometimes you have to protect. Its name is Loretta. I think it's Loretta. Like every little robot has its own like name, like Loretta and Molly.
I want it.
One I can't think
and
of.
I want to play it.
And I think it's free on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. It's free to download. I can't remember. There's one robot. Once you fight it, you can reprogram it. And its name is like Betsy or something, and it follows you and just lays waste to everything. It's a really fun little
Let's
game.
just talk about the reviews. 77,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So this leads me into a little bit of my rantiness. When I started playing this game, I was like, I was talking with Sarah about this, and I'll tell you where I started and where I'm at now. My first thing was like, man, AAA gaming is dead in the sense of lack of innovation.
Mm-hmm.
They do the same things over and over again. They're just remakes, the sequels. It's nothing like special. But here you have AA and indie developers not necessarily doing innovation, but they take aspects of games that we all like, put them into one, and the whole thing is great because they focus on stuff that we like. If you look at Hello Games, it took them 5 years to get to mostly positive reviews on Steam, but that whole thing, that was an indie developer doing some really, really major crazy innovation.
Yep.
And it's all indie devs. And I was talking to Sarah about this, about how my distaste for games as service is. I'm not a fan of it personally. I don't like the remake and sequel game as much as it's been used until I saw the trailer for Need for Speed Underground 2 remake, and I'm like, crap, I'm gonna have to buy that now.
And
but
Gran Turismo, what is it?
Well, that's not a remake.
Gran Turismo 13.
Well, that is, but yes, but that's a little different. I mean, to me, that's like a Madden thing. You know what you're buying into that on that. But I mean, there's not a lot of innovative storytelling. Like even the KOTOR is a remake of
most AAA is rinse, wash, repeat these days.
Which when I was talking to my wife, I changed perspectives a little bit, because back when things were innovative, quote unquote, like Mario 64 or GoldenEye, like you can't technically call those AAA games, even though they are AAA companies now. Back then it was like 12 people, and they were the only ones
was
making.
Not a AAA company at all. Nintendo of America, that's
no, Nintendo was like Rare, the developer of like 007. It was 12 people that made that game.
Okay, you mentioned Mario 64, and that's where I took exception.
Okay, yes, but it's hard to say that those are AAA when there was no indie developers really at the time. There were few, but there wasn't, not like it is today where everyone's kind of has a platform to upload their game. So I kind of changed my perspective a little bit, but my whole like thought process is I'm really frustrated with the AAA industry, with what EA is doing. Call of Duty Vanguard is just reskinned, Modern Warfare. The PlayStation Showcase, like Ragnarok, they're doing a story, so at least they're continuing with somewhat original content and creating a good story based around existing mythology. That's good. But then you've got like the KOTOR remake. You have Deathloop, which I wasn't going to buy it, but now I am, just because it's something different. Ghostwire Tokyo, I'm buying that because it's something different. But like, I'm like sick of the games as service seasonal reward passes and play our game all the time to get all the cool things because we want just all of your attention. It is so frustrating because sometimes I want to play a good open world game that doesn't need me to play it every damn day.
Yes.
It's so frustrating, but I don't know if we're ever going to like come back from where we are now, which is fine because that just means that some of us are going to have to, like me, I'm going to have to shift over and start looking at indie companies and going, all right, what do you have to offer? Because I really haven't played many indie video games. So it's just some place that I'm at now, you know, in my gaming.
Yeah.
It's an interesting viewpoint. Yeah,
it really is. That was good.
Anyway,
do you think,
that's pretty much all.
Here's a thought. You're definitely right about the regurgitation of content out of AAA games. They just take existing stuff and change it and make it a different color and put a new price tag on it.
Hollywood does it too.
And send it on out the conveyor belt. I wonder if there's going to be some change coming in the next 5 to 10 years, because a lot of video game studios are moving people remotely to work at home, which are more independent, which makes them more productive. Which makes the developers happier. I feel like there is some corporate culture that inhibits creativity when it comes to the design of video games. When you have multiple corporate structures, HR, financial, accounting departments, design departments, art departments, PR departments, etc., 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 all weighing in on a single game or franchise, it strangles it, and it really sort of destroys the creative process, I think. And you don't see that with those smaller developers. There's a lot more autonomy there.
But at the same time, I do understand that when you have a company of 3,000 plus people, it's very hard to take risks. So it's a lot easier, like, hey, we need to keep 5,000 people employed and making the company money, so we have to make a game that is going to sell. So they make games that are low risk, and so I can't really fault companies for making battle royales and games as service, because it keeps money coming in and it does keep people employed, and people do genuinely enjoy those video games, and that's fine. It's not for me. So, and I'm not disparaging it. I just my whole, where I'm coming from is I fear we're not going to see a lot of these crazy open world games that don't require a lot of our time, that are super fun. Like, for instance, Sea of Thieves. I would love to play that game all the time, or I would love to play that game a little bit more than just constantly always online. We've talked about this with the private servers and just like popping in and doing a thing and leaving. But then when you see the stuff at the end of the seasonal reward pass, you're like, man, I really want that thing.
But here's the thing, though, about Sea of Thieves. It's not hard to achieve that.
No, but you got to spend a lot of time.
It's really not that
it.
hard to do the season. And it doesn't measure up to other games like
else,
76.
But when you if you like playing Destiny 2 and you like playing 76 and you like playing Sea of Thieves, but then they all have season passes, they all have extra rewards, and then you all have to, you don't have time to play all three.
That's why you
like all three.
You gotta pick
and
one.
it's just I don't
want to
like
pick
that.
one.
That's what I mean. I don't want to pick one either.
I want to play all the games I like, and I don't want to miss out because I refuse to pick.
And that's the reality, is that you're going to miss out. And other people that play the games that you can't play because you've already missed out, you don't end up playing because you've missed out even more. And getting into that is just like,
I wonder if that.
I feel guilty because I'm not going to do the Fallout homework tonight.
And I wonder if that's just a victim of our age, if you think about it, because we were raised in a time where you got everything playing the game. We didn't miss out on anything because it was just always there. Where maybe this generation won't have that same, like, oh, I missed that skin, that's not a big deal, because that's what they're used to.
I wouldn't say that I play Sea of Thieves just to get the achievements and all the things.
Right.
Sea of
That may have
Thieves.
been a bad example.
No, I mean, no, you're right, because there is a lot of that in Rare's game. For me, it's about the people that you sail with, but also there is a little bit of a lure there to finishing out the season and finishing some achievements, and that's just a completionist thing, right?
And I would say that Sea of Thieves, in my opinion, is different because they add so much content as far as story and varied events and things. But my issues when like games like, I hate to say it, 76, or even like Warzone, where they just add skins. There's nothing really new. They're like, here's our big update, and it's like
It's
not
just
really
a new
much
jacket.
there.
I really enjoy.
I don't like that.
I think 76 is a really great universe, and one of the things that it sets itself apart from all other video games is its community.
Yes. But its
one of the
community
things,
is amazing.
one of the things about 76 was that it was actually really hard for me to do the homework, and some like the Boy Scout stuff. That was like so next level impossible that is pretty much what drove me out of the Fallout universe.
I don't think that games shouldn't have end game content for the people who like to focus all their time on it. I'm not saying that they should get rid of it. I think I'm coming at this from it's not for me. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this particular style of gameplay. It's just I'm not a fan of games service because of all the time it requires of me to do.
and like I don't know what's another good example of that. GTA Online, PUBG, Fortnite.
Oh yeah,
like so Fortnite has seasons, right? There's and that's one of the things why I get behind No Man's Sky, because all of the content that we've received after launch has been free, readily achievable, and there is no sort of events that are happening.
No, I mean, well, there is kind of now the community events, but I mean that's not a part of the main structure.
Yeah, so. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. Like, I still like doing those little achievements, and it's fun doing them together. But
I think they're needed. I think they are needed to keep those games afloat. And I think if you
for me, it's a
well,
content thing. And I think that they build these games around a demographic of people that have time to play them.
Certainly.
Kids that sit at home.
People?
Children.
Kids that don't work a 9 to 5.
Child, I didn't have that time. I had stuff to do.
I played video games all the time. I could have done it then, but I just can't devote that much time to a game because it gets boring. Because they're like, here, let's do. I've talked about it before, where it's like, hey, let's do this one thing 1,500 times so you can unlock the gun. Well, what am I going to use the gun for? The thing you just did 1,500 times.
Yeah, like I am I'm 8 gems away from 100 gems from getting an eye patch in Sea of Thieves that I'm never gonna wear. But I'm doing it anyways, and I don't know why.
So, and like that's my issue with like Destiny in that sense. That's my issue with 76, because you only have a limited couple of things that you can do to get to earn. Like, again, I would really enjoy 76's scoreboard if it wasn't separate from XP. Just make it XP. That way you can just do anything you want and you can earn.
Anyways,
so you don't have to feel guilty for playing the homework.
Very fruitful discussion. Very fruitful discussion. What else, Rick, have you been playing?
Work. I've been playing my record lathe. That's pretty much all I've been doing.
Did you get it fixed? Didn't you break a thing on it?
Oh yeah, it works. It's amazing now.
Was that like expensive?
There is a screw. Let's see here. Like basically this little screw. See that little thing right there? Yeah, see it? It's like a 1/2 inch long screw. It's tiny. Yeah. I had to source one of those from Greece. For $250.
Some grandpa millwright in some back alley in Greece.
Are you saying
little drawer
that you got screwed?
No. I'm saying that it was one of those things that's like I could only find one in the entire world, and the guy knew what he had, so I had to pay $250 for a screw. And now you're his like best customer ever. Well, also that, and I had my lathe wired wrong. I had a wire in the wrong location, and once I moved it, it worked amazingly.
So this
Really?
was like a blessing in disguise in
Yeah.
a way.
Yeah, because I was like cranking the audio, and I'm like, why is it still so quiet and like muffled? It'd be like, and I was like, why is it so distorted? And I looked at the back on this where this my one wire was attached. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I think it's in the wrong place. And then I moved it
Yeah.
and I cut another disc, and it was like bright and loud, and you could hear everything. And I was like, I'm an idiot.
I totally
I'm
want
a
to come.
complete moron.
I totally want to come and visit you and see all of your things, like all the music things.
Oh, it's a
And like all the
mess.
stuff, and we can make a record and drink beer
Yeah.
and be like
you could play
dads
you could play an ukulele
That would
live
be
to a
so
disc.
fun.
live to a disc.
Mhm.
We
You
still have to record a podcast live. Can we record our 100th podcast live to disc?
It would have to be like
10 minutes.
half
Very
an hour.
short.
Hi everyone, welcome to the
Half
show.
an
Okay,
hour.
we'll talk to you later.
I have to flip it. I can on a 12-inch disc. I can put like 15 minutes per side, roughly.
Oh.
Maybe I can eke a little more out of it, but
That's cool.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can see it a little bit on stream,
Yeah,
but yeah.
cool.
It's fun.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah,
I've been
What
playing,
about you, Vendor?
I've been playing some games too. Oh, that's our show notes up there on the let me just get rid of that.
Doing the show on the show.
I've been playing some ATS and ETS with Raven's View, who, as you guys know, is a retired streamer, and he loves all the simulation games. We've been doing a lot of convoys. We've gotten into this habit of having like a Saturday morning coffee convoy where we solve 95% of the world's problems in about 2 hours. It's really nice and chill.
Nice.
We usually complain about everything and anything all of the time. The new Wyoming DLC came out, and it's really nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, it looks
Straight
really
roads.
good. There's lots of mountains.
Oh yeah. I guess I'm a little confused as to Wyoming.
I mean, I was expecting it to be a little bit flatter than this. That John Denver's full of shit. Yeah, so it was interesting. We're probably gonna do a coffee convoy tomorrow morning, I bet.
Oh, cool.
I did purchase Bus Sim 21 because I'm a sucker for simulators, and it was a disappointing trash fire. Yeah, it was terrible. It was absolutely. I was so disappointed. Other people really love it. I played it for about an hour and a half, and they have the mechanics down in terms of steering. Like, it's very optimized for the wheel. Not optimized for an ultra-wide monitor at all. Like, you can move your seat up and down. You can't move it back. The ultra-wide monitor just doesn't work with the bus dash and everything. They just need to optimize that more. Also, there are some mechanics that I just couldn't figure out how to work. Like, for instance, I pulled up to a bus stop and there was a person in a wheelchair, and you have to put the ramp out so that they can get on the bus.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't figure out how to get the ramp out from the bus, so I kept having to leave all these people in wheelchairs at the bus stop. It was awful. I could not figure out how to get the ramp out in my bus, and
That's awful.
it was
That's
so awful. I felt terrible. I left all of these people in wheelchairs just out in the rain. Joshy says I'd be interested to see how the bus sim compares to driving IRL at bus. Honestly, Bus Sim 18, the one that you got me for Christmas, Rick, is better. It's literally Bus Sim 21 is literally the same engine with more buildings and a little bit better graphics. But other than that, it's pretty much all the same. Also, the dialogue is totally weird. This old lady,
Isn't it always weird?
this old lady got on the bus and she was like, oh, what was it? What did she say? She said, "Oh, today I fed a colony of seagulls," and I'm like, "What? There's no such thing as a colony of seagulls. It's a flock of seagulls. Who writes this stuff?"
She's senile. It's
Anyways, it was interesting, but equally frustrating. One of the highlights actually was that, well, I don't know if it was a highlight, but it was interesting nonetheless. In the character customize creator thing, you could put a mask on your character. And I was like, oh man, that is so like pandemic-esque.
Oh, that kind of mask. I
Like,
thought you meant like a kabuki mask or something.
no, no,
It's
no. You
like,
could just put like just a mask on your character, and like you can choose the color, and
no.
it was weird. I don't know. It was like my reality was seeping into my world that I escape reality from. So I don't know how I felt about that, but so in my disappointment of Bus Sim 21, I jumped back into hard spaceship breaker, which, as you know, is sort of a post-apocalyptic type spacefaring game where you live on a space station and you are an automaton that basically works for a large corporation, and your job is to break down ships. And it's very technical and puzzle-like, where you have to figure out how to get different components apart, and you got to be really careful about taking out the nuclear reactor, because it can explode as you take it out. And there's a whole economy behind it. When you first start, you're like $24 trillion in debt or something like that, and you got to work your way down by salvaging parts and selling them, and you make money with each part that you sell or break down in the furnace and stuff like that. So this game, if you guys have not played it, and anybody listening, if you do play it with soft classical music. It is the most relaxing thing ever. It is so nice. You're just like floating through space and like ripping stuff apart on this spaceship, and you just have some nice classical music in the background. Yeah, it's nice. Why are you laughing?
We're arguing in the show notes. I do want to play this game though, because you talked about this the other day on Steam, and I was like, man, that'd probably be a fun game to play.
Honestly, it's really relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a completionist dream, because like the part of the object is not to destroy components as you're taking the ship apart, because you get a penalty for that, or you lose out on the money. And then you can, like, as you progress through the game, you get special stickers that you can put on your guns that are like cute, you know. I got a sticker of the moon that I put on the side of my laser.
Aww.
Yeah, there's a little bit of cynicism in it too. So okay, very quickly, also Sea of Thieves. So I played a lot of Sea of Thieves in the last couple weeks. Been having a lot of fun playing with different people. I finished out the season, which is great. So I got the cool jacket and the cool pants, and the headmask on the ship, which is very cool. I'm just now working on the event that they have, which is to collect and sell 100 gems. I have 8 more left to do. Probably going to finish that out tonight. Very excited. But yeah, I've just been sailing with people. I sailed with you guys. We have some stories. Shalene, we can share that in a minute. I did sail with Grim and Never Again Ken, and it was some serious fun. So we get on the server, and Grim is like, hey, you guys want to do like a fort? And I was like, yeah, sure. What kind of fort? He's like, oh, well, this is a hard fort. I'm like, there's different kinds of forts? And apparently the one with the red eyes is actually an even harder fort than a regular Skelly fort. So we went over to this island with the red eyes, and apparently somebody had already started it, but they didn't finish it because there was nobody around. And so we started fighting and dying and fighting and dying and fighting and dying. And then this sloop started making its way over. And I'm on the ship. I'm like, guys, there's a sloop coming. What do you want to do? And so we like loaded up, turned the ship around, and went out and attacked them and sunk them. Went back, kept fighting. Dying, fighting, dying, fighting. And it's like lots of waves of skellies. And when there's skellies, I'm talking like 20 to 30 skellies that come out, that spawn. So like, it's so funny because I'd be on the ship and I'd look through my spyglass onto the island and I'd see like Ken run by with his little character and then all these skellies running behind.
Like Jack Sparrow.
And he's like back and forth. It's hilarious. And then this sloop starts coming back again. So we sunk them. We took their stuff. Then they went back and they set sail to come back and get their stuff, right? Well, I go, okay, I got a plan this time. I'm going to go to one of the towers and get myself a splody barrel. And I'm going to swim out to sea as they're coming in and blow them up. And then we won't have to worry about it. Well, and you guys can keep fighting. Well, Grim's back on the brig. And he's like, okay, well, I'll just harpoon this floaty barrel. And I said, no, don't harpoon it because I'm going to swim out with it. And then, I don't know, I guess don't harpoon it means harpoon it. And as I picked it up and I was holding it in the water, he harpooned it out of my hands. And it was the harpoon was too much at an angle that it collided with the boat and blew up the front of our boat as this sloop was coming in. And they seen this all happen. And they're probably thinking to themselves, these idiots just blew up their own boat and sunk themselves, and we didn't have to do any work. So we sunk. All of our stuff was gone. We spawned back in another outpost, hop on the brig, load it up, go back to the fort. The guys are there finishing the fort and collecting our loot. We show up, blast them to smithereens for a third time. Then they tried to spawn camp us on our ship. And then they just like left the server. That was it. They were gone. They uninstalled the game. They never returned. That was the end of it. And we finished out the fort. We got all the loot. And then as we were loading the loot, this brig comes by and wants a piece of the pie. And they started attacking us. Well, we blew them to smithereens. And we sunk them. And then as we were going into the outpost, we got another sloop coming after us. I think people figured out that we were the ones that did the fort. We had this other sloop come, but we actually suspect that it was the same guys from before, but they just changed the color of paint on their ship. We ended up sinking them again. And then we cashed in all our loot and we sold everything. And it was like crazy because we sunk like 5 ships that night. And it was probably the most PvP lord I've ever been. We were just sinking them left and right and it was awesome. Yeah. So that was really fun. Yeah. And then we've had some pretty good stuff too. So, yeah. What did we do last? We did some merchant stuff this past week or last week, I think.
You guys played without me, I think.
We finished out the final Tall Tale on Pirates
for that.
What did you think of that, Shalene?
It was disappointing compared to the others, really.
So it wasn't just me?
Yeah, it was just
like we fought like in a circle and then it was it?
Yeah,
it was just pure ship combat. That was not super fun compared to the other ones.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I wasn't quite sure because I had a few bits of grog that night.
No, I felt the same way. And well, I was mostly like organizing and patching holes down below. I just kind of remember drinking a lot and trying to pilot the ship in this battle and being really sloshed.
I remember that you were too drunk to aim.
I was.
So we said, you better drive.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes. I was too drunk to fire. And so I vaguely remember the end and I thought it was underwhelming, but I couldn't tell if it was like my inebriation.
It actually was a little underwhelming, yeah.
Never mix beer with rum, folks.
And this week we're like, Rick, what are you doing?
Just rum. Just rum.
It was fun though. I had a lot of fun. And actually, I still have to go back through and redo all the Tall Tales.
Yeah, so we can get all of this.
So you get the ship set. Yeah. But I kind of want to redo it because they're fun and I enjoyed them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Me too.
Tortuga was great. I like that.
That was a really good one.
Was that the one with the rowboat?
That was so funny.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Did you know that let's say you load into a server and there's like 2 Reaper ships on the map that you're on. And sometimes if you're going to do like merchant or like a vault or something, you usually just hop to a new server. Did you know that if you log onto a server where there's multiple threats, you can join or start the 1st or 5th Pirate's Life Tall Tale, where you go off into the separate world, quickly go through it, and come back out and you're on a different server without losing your loot on your ship?
That's interesting.
Yeah. So if you do a whole vault and you've got like somebody tailing you, you can have somebody hop off at an outpost, pop down the first Pirate's Life, sail off and disappear off the map into the
Nice.
Pirate's Life Tall Tale with all your loot and escape to another server.
That is so cheap.
I like it though.
Rare hasn't figured it out yet, so I'm hoping that they don't.
Hopefully
catch
they
wind of
don't
it.
listen. There's
Yeah.
no rare thin
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah, we did that last
Yeah.
night.
Rare
That's
and
so funny.
Rare and turn.
Rare thin
Yeah.
turn.
Rare thin turn.
Rare
Thin turn.
Rin turn.
Thief.
It doesn't work.
Thief turn.
It doesn't work.
Thief.
There's no
Doesn't
in it.
Anyways.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And then Archon and Shalene and I did some merchant stuff, which was a lot of fun. I love doing the merchant stuff.
We did. It was really fun. We raised a merchant flag and we sailed all around doing merchant quests. We caught some piggies and some snakes and brought them back, and that was fun. And they survived some terrible fights. And the piggies were a little traumatized, but we fed them bananas until they felt better.
I was really surprised that the snakes survived the mermaids.
Me too. On the prow of the ship like that. Yeah. I was surprised the snakes lived.
I wonder if they actually take damage. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah.
They might not. We did several sunken ships because those are my favorite. And all in all, it was a very good time. We were attacked by a skelly ship, and we were fighting the skelly ship, and they came in really close. And the guys always board the skelly ships when we're attacked, and they board them and fight the skellies, and it's swashbuckling heroic adventures. And I usually just stick to patching holes in the ship and stuff. But this time I had a little bit of inspiration, and I felt like I was the one who needed to board the ship this time. So I leaped aboard the ship with my cutlass in my teeth and just went to town fighting these skellies, and it was so fun. I loved it so
what
much.
did you think of it?
It was so fun. I felt like such a hero. It was great. Yeah, it was the nighttime skellies, but it was sunrise. So
so you had free reign.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was just swashbuckling my way through these skellies, and it was really fun. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
It's so weird to see their world and how they operate. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it just like now having done that, when we do another ship, you're going to just picture what they're doing over there while you're blasting them on your own boat.
It was fun. It was really fun. I was glad that I did it.
That's great.
And we had a good haul. We sold our loot. We made loads of gold. But then we got attacked by another one, didn't we? What happened? The Kraken.
Archon went to bed.
It was a Kraken?
Oh, we did
Something
get a
attacked
Kraken.
us.
Yes, we got
It was a
Krakened.
Kraken.
Yeah.
And we fought the Kraken and won. And then Archon went to bed. And then I was also ready to go to bed. So I went to bed too.
Wait,
And
there was more after that,
what did we do?
because we still had a random crate of rum
We did. And we were going
that
to
was supposed
deliver
to
that
go
to North Star Seapost.
It was supposed to go to North Star, and Shalene and I were so determined to get this crate of rum
Yes.
to North Star. It meant nothing to us. We found it on a beach. It was so stupid. And so we're like, okay, well, we'll drop sails, we'll rip up to North Star, sell it, and then we'll both log off. Well, on the way, wouldn't you know it, on the way to North Star Seapost, bam, Skelly Galleon pops up out of the water, decides that it's going to start attacking us. So, we're firing, lobbing off shots and fire and all this stuff. We sink that. We actually grabbed the loot from it. And then we went to North Star, and we get to North Star, and we realized that the crate of rum that we had was totally smashed to smithereens. So the whole point of going to North Star to get this, like, there was no point after that. But we still ended up selling it for like 190 gold. It was so stupid.
And what did you do with all that loot? Because I logged off at that point. I was exhausted.
Right. So after North Star, I actually sailed over to Sanctuary Outpost, and I was just going to sell the loot. So I had started selling some loot, and then this sloop just like rolled up. This random sloop. He was sort of out in the water, circling around, trying to like figure me out. And then once he realized that I wasn't really a threat, he just pulled in and he parked. And at that point, I had kind of almost sold everything. I think there was like a skull and maybe a chest or something left. And then we had all of those storage crates. There was
Yes,
like
it's so many.
7 storage crates or whatever, and a bunch of tridents and things. So I go over to him, right? I show up, and he's walking towards the gold hoarder tent. He's got a weepy chest. And I'm like, I go on the mic. I'm like, "Hey kid, come here. I want to show you something." And he was like, he didn't even realize that I was there. So, and I'm like, no. And he started following me with his weepy chest. I'm like, no, sell that first. And I knew right away that he was a new player. I knew right away that he was a new player. So he follows me to the brig, he followed me to the dock because I had put all the storage crates on the dock already. And I'm like, you see all these storage crates? You can have them. They're yours. And he was like, wow, really? I'm like, yep, they're all yours. And he's like, thanks. And I'm like, I'll help you move them even. So then we started like loading all of the crates onto his boat. And I take that he was a new player. His mic wasn't working for some reason. So he could hear me, but I couldn't hear him. So he was just typing in the chat. And then he was selling some other stuff and doing stuff on the island. And I hopped onto his boat and like organized all his barrels for him, raised the sails, raised the anchor, and then like sat down and just waited for him to come back. Then he comes on his boat and he sees Charlie. And he was kind of like,
Charlie is your cat.
He was kind of like, what are you doing here? So he picks the cat up and he's like petting it, and the cat's purring, and he's looking around. He has no idea that I'm doing the Archon seduction pose behind the wheel where the compass is. Has no idea that I'm laying there. And so he drops sails and he goes and he grabs on the wheel, and then he realizes that I'm sitting there, and he's like, oh, you're still here. And I'm like, yeah, because I had scuttled the brig, so he probably thought that I logged. And then we just sort of like traveled around the map for a little bit, and I helped him fight some skellies, and then I logged off. But it was super fun and really cute. And I think he added me on Xbox as a friend.
Oh.
How fun. That sounds like a great time.
I love those random encounters. It is just, that's the part of Sea of Thieves that I really enjoy. Yeah.
That is so lovely.
So that was the story that I've been saving all week to tell you guys.
Yes, I've been waiting for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. Well, in addition to Sea of Thieves, I've also played a bit of Fallout 76, working on the new season. I really like the new season scoreboard. It's Unstoppables superhero themed, and the cosmetics are really fun superhero themed cosmetics. It's just really cute. And of course, Nuclear Winter has met its end. R.I.P. Nuclear Winter. But I did get to play a match on the last night. Yes, Archie and I jumped in for one last match of Nuclear Winter, and we dropped in at Tradition at the golf course.
As you do.
Yeah, it was great. We had a couple of teammates, and at the farm, one of our teammates found a nuclear briefcase.
Ooh.
And I had 3 codes in my pocket. So I'm like, hey, you want these codes? I have 3 codes. And he says, no, I'm just going to screw it up if I try to launch this nuke. Let me give somebody else the briefcase. So he drops the briefcase, and I pick it up, and Archon and I ran off to find a terminal to reveal enemies on the map so that we could launch an effective nuke. So we were in Morgantown at that one by the university, the terminal up there in that little area over the university. And I'm hacking this terminal while the fire is slowly filling the room. So eventually I'm hacking the terminal while we're completely encased in fire. I finally get the hack, and we get a good location. I drop the nuke. We wipe out a whole team.
Nice.
And we're running, trying to get out of the fire, and we ended up dying in the fire. But it was brilliant. It was brilliant to end our final Nuclear Winter match with by nuking an entire team.
That's awesome.
And you didn't get killed by anyone, so.
Yeah. That's right. We went out in a blaze of glory,
That's true.
you might
Yep.
say.
Although I would have done it Rogue One style, where you just like drop the nuke on yourselves and then like just tug as it.
Arjun has popped up in the chat. He says, "Yeah, we found it. The nuclear briefcase found it conveniently in someone's pockets." That's right. I forgot we killed that guy.
What? Your teammate?
No, we killed the guy that it was that had the briefcase originally.
Oh, gotcha.
And then our teammate picked it up.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
okay.
forgot about that. And let's see. Last night we were doing the homework, Arjun and I, and just normal, doing the homework, having a little chat, and a daily ops team is formed, and it was formed by somebody named Banana Nandon, and I thought that seems like a familiar name. And Arjun said, "Yeah, I think he's in the Discord." So we jumped on his daily op team and ran a daily op. And he is in our Discord. He's a listener. So shout out to Banana Nandon. And we spent the evening doing events and stuff together. It was
That's
a fun
cool.
time. Yeah, it was really fun.
How excited were they when they discovered you?
Pretty excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He asked if this was the same Shalene from the
Is
podcast.
this the Shalene?
The Shalene?
It is the
Yes.
Shalene.
Yes. So that was cute.
That's very cool.
Yeah. He doesn't listen to GameStack. I told him to listen to GameStack.
What?
So.
He's in our
I know,
Discord
right?
and he doesn't listen to our podcasts?
He listens to that Fallout show.
Oh, naturally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So.
Makes sense.
Listen to GameStack, you guys. I guess if you don't, you're not hearing this message. But anyway, that was my gameplay.
Awesome. Great.
Thanks for sharing your gameplay, guys. That's a show for tonight. Don't forget, next Friday, you can catch that Fallout show right here on twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames. Live at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget, also, you can pick up a bag of Peru, Cajamarca, Guatemala, Huehuetenango, We Just Love Coffee's blend at oakandcrow.com. The show is sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. $2 from every purchase of We Just Love Coffee's blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. If you would like to write into the show, you can do so, sending us an email at info@wejustlovegames.com. Don't forget to post your... It's really hard to talk with these aligners in, you guys. Don't forget to post your screenshots and stories in our Discord channel. We will share your screenshots and stories on the next episode of GameStack. Episode 96, 100 is coming up very soon.
Ooh.
You can find us on Twitter at We Just Love Games, Shalene at Shalene L, Rick at Rick McVick, myself at Vendertron N. We're on the Facebooks, facebook.com/We Just Love Games, facebook.com/group/We Just Love Games. Also on Discord, you can shoot us a message or scroll right down below if you're listening live and join the Discord that way. And we're also on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Please like and subscribe and review the show, and we will shout you out. And Shalene, do you have anything to add?
I do. I just wanted to mention that a couple of my fellow dames who game, Jen and Jess and myself, are going to be doing a panel at the International Women's in Games.
Oh, that's
conference.
right. That's
Nice.
right.
September 16th is our talk. The conference runs the 15th and 16th, and we will be doing a little panel on the 16th.
Is it virtual?
Nice.
It is virtual conference. Yes.
We should-
So it's
can-
being hosted on Hopin.
Can we live stream it to the We Just
I
Love
don't
Games
think
channel?
so. No, I
Okay.
don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, post the link for us in the Discord so we can watch
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
That'd be great. And congratulations. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's
thanks.
awesome.
We were super excited to be invited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, any last thanks everyone for listening. And Rick, do you have a last word?
Do you mind if I don't smoke?
Good night, guys.
Yay, we did it.